as you are aware, that conference has just concluded on the first part of electing the provincial officials, and of course you were there for the results. And we thought that it would be important that you are able to just get a bite in terms of the proceedings thus far, and also be able to interface with the new leadership. So I'm going to hand over to Comrade Makrobo, our NEC member, and Comrade Kolisi Dukwana, the newly elected chairperson, just to touch base with you, and then from there we'll allow room for questions and answers. Over to you, Comrade Makrobo.
Thanks, Comrade Amos, and a very good evening, and thanks to our chairperson, Comrade Dukwane. Once again, congratulations. On our side, we've reached a stage as we're part of the engagement with His Excellency the President when he made his closing remarks, and our chairperson. As members of the National Executive Committee, both in terms of our deployment to this 9th Provincial Conference and part of the members of the steering committee that we work with the leadership of the province, our view is that we had a very successful conference in a climate where there were a number of challenges, and we are very grateful that members of the ANC in the province that came to the conference, they cooperated, and we also condemn the incidents that happened at the beginning of a deliberate attempt by amongst some of us to collapse the conference. As His Excellency Comrade President indicated, to us this is watershed, and now the province of Free State has a leadership. They should be in a position to drive the issues that affect the province. We want also, on behalf of the members of the NEC that worked here, condemning in the strongest possible terms about the behavior of others that are not true to the conviction of the ANC when it comes to the choice and the path we chose of a constitutional democracy, where the will of the people must be respected. It is very mischievous, especially for certain individuals amongst our ranks at the ANC, when they have participated in all the processes of the ANC, and when the people have spoken, you start not to respect the outcome of the conference. We want to repeat that these allegations that they are making, they are actually unfounded, they are baseless. When we concluded the matters of the credentials, we concluded them in a manner that all considerations were made, and finally our credentials that constitute the conference were accepted by conference with the amendments that were there. And in our report back on the credibility of the elections, we were able to report that it was on the basis of the amended credentials that we also have the records. And we respect the guidance by Comrade Chairperson of the province, Comrade Dukwana, that he will lead the collective in the province to unite, and also directed by President. One of the things that the ANC has always told us, we must respect the outcome of the conference, embrace the decision of conference on both decisions around the issues of resolutions, but also the decision around the question of leadership. But equally, we expect those that have been able to emerge on the basis of democratically being elected to ensure that in their conduct they remain organizational, they are no victors and vanquish, and embrace even those that had a different view, especially those that never voted for them. On our part, we'll be concluding the task that we've been giving, working with the PEC led by the chair, about those that are going to be voting. The voting will be commencing very shortly, within the next 30 minutes. We've been briefed by the IC Comrade Chair, the IMSA, that they are ready now with the ballot boxes, And as described by our Deputy Chair of the province, Comrade Toto, we'll start with those regions that are very far. And ultimately, we'll be able to produce the report on this conference. That will be submitted to the National Executive Committee. But on our side, we're very content with the outcome and the wishes of the people of Free State. At this stage, we'll hand over to my elder brother, Comrade Che, Comrade Tukwana, to have his remarks. And we've been joined by Comrade Nopala, Comrade Dielele, and also Comrade Deputy Nopala, Comrade Dibulelo. Thanks, Comrade Che.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and thanks for this opportunity to just exchange a few, views with you, especially with regard to the conference. We are happy as the ANC members that we have been able to travel this journey and ultimately have a leadership elected, and we look forward to ensuring that as the people elected to direct the affairs of the ANC, we do everything in our power to ensure that the ANC takes a different direction in the sense that we can't be an organization that deals with the issues of the people, but spend more time inward looking. We will spend more of our time ensuring that we are able to deal with issues that affect our communities, but also make sure that in everything that we do, we work with the communities, the business people, the labor, and all, especially the young people and the women of our province, because we are determined in turning the tide round, and this ship that was sinking needs to be turned around and do everything in our power. For a long, long time, we have not known peace in the province, and this province has so many opportunities, very creative individuals, community members, but also many of our people are suffering, and they are suffering because they have hope that the ANC would actually become the instrument that they desired. And in many instances, we have disappointed them, and this is an opportunity for all of us to really do everything that we can do to drive the organization in a direction that will embrace our people, but also work with them. We're going to be building structures of the ANC, making sure that they become relevant, and then they work with our people. But for that to happen, you need to have a membership that understands who they are and why they are members of the ANC to start with, and make sure that we build a cadreship that will drive the ANC's program, but also live among the people and engage them in a meaningful way and attend to their issues. We don't intend, as I say, to be the know-it-all, but we intend to work with the people of our country, of our province, in attending and resolving the challenges that are facing. And with all these challenges that we have today, these are actually pranks of a new birth. The new thing is being born. There will be pains, there will be unfortunate things happening, but at the end, we're not going to be focusing on things that are a distraction, We're going to focus on what needs to happen and what we should be happening. And we're not going to pay attention to some who would be calling for our attention when they should actually be helping us in building the organization move forward. So we are ready to provide the required leadership. But as I said, you can't lead when you do not have a clear plan. You can't lead without purpose. And these are some of the things that we're going to be looking at. And in our first meeting as the PEC, these will be things that we'll have to deal with so that we know, all of us, where we're going, and make sure that people can measure everything that we do from what we would have set ourselves as an objective that should be attained. We thank you very much for being with us. And these are some of the things that we need to stop where we would put time, start 10, and you now know that every time we say we're going to start at 10, sometimes it starts the next day, and we need to correct such. And it's in the nature of a disciplined organization that respects time, but also respects other people's time, because without that mutual respect, we will not go anywhere. So we apologize profusely for having kept you this long, and also having made arrangement to be here on Friday, and drama ensued. But we promise you, as this collective, we will not have an opportunity where we will call you and have you, and we start these meetings late. And this is something that I assure you we will not do. We will not, as sign of self-respecting leaders and organization, time is important, not only yours, but other people's time. We thank you very much for being there and for reporting all that has been happening in our province and in our conference. And we hope that this will not be the end, and we need to have this communication more. Thank you very much.
Amos?
Thank you very much, leadership. Colleagues, we are now going to open...
Let's just indicate we've been joined by our treasurer.
Okay, yes.
Comrade Matamo Lieto, she's here. And with the deputy chair, Comrade Dotted already apologized, Comrade Chair.
Yes, thank you very much. Colleagues, we're now going to take questions if there are any. So we're going to note hands, and then you go ahead by introducing yourself, the media house that you represent, and then you proceed with the question. I would humbly request that we try and take one round of questions. The reason being that leadership still has to go back to plenary where there's processes that are unfolding. So I suggest that everyone that has a question take this opportunity to raise that question so that we can wrap up the briefing. Okay, Norman? And yourself over there, my brother there. Just the three hands. Okay, Norman, you can shoot.
My name is Norman Masobeli from City Press, and congratulations on your election. One of the main concerns that you emphasize, Chair, is the issue of, of leadership being there, and as leaders in your report, and even the national chairperson also touched on it to the point where I would use a word that he came hard on it to say there was no leadership in the province, government level and stuff like that. What is your immediate goals to correct that? Are we going to see And also, secondly, the disgruntled members who are now saying they are going to court. What is it that you are going to do to maybe engage them, and how are you going to approach that element, seeing that emotions are still high? Thank you so much.
Okay.
Mahara from SABC News, but I think anyway he covered my question was for the action from the chair as well as the secretary, specifically because they found themselves in the past on the other end where they are not happy with the processes leading to the conference, or even not happy with the conference itself. So it's just adding to this question as to how you're going to approach that. And yeah.
Okay, over to you.
Jimmy Mapohosha from Central TV. Congratulations to the newly elected top 5. My first two questions, I have two questions. The first question will go to Comrade Dibulelo Mahlatsi. Seemingly known that she's a member of the National Parliament, and she's now elected as the Deputy Secretary. What are the plans? What is going to happen moving on from now on? Since, well, the province will need her full-time beside. That's the first point. The second question would also go to what the colleagues have just mentioned. The issue of seeing the leaders, government officials who were part and parcel of the conference, that after the result, they all had to take their bags and then leave, while the president of the country, also the ANC, is to still to address the members. What is the approach? What will be the approach of the current top 5 of PEC to deal with such?
Okay. Any other hand? Okay.
Refula Meko SABC, I think also just the chair's feelings. How does he feel that certain people or certain group still think that he's not the rightful person for this position? His feelings on that. Thank you.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much. Over to you, leadership. Starting with the chair.
We'll start with the chair. They're most referred to him.
Well, I am not a perfect human being, but I try hard to be the best version of myself, and I can't help it when others have an opinion about me. Many people have had opinion about me even before they met me, and many have changed their opinions about me after meeting me. So I hope that I will also be able to get a better understanding of where they are coming from, and also deal with whatever that they're raising as my shortcomings. I believe that the best person is the one who's prepared to learn, unlearn, and relearn. And where I have weaknesses, like any other person, I'm prepared to learn. But I believe that one is never old to learn, and I'm open-minded. So I welcome any person who would, instead of just pointing fingers or whatever, it will be better to show me if you really care about the progress of our province, where I am weak, and for me to improve on that. So I'm not going to be, disturbed by people who would make whatever uninformed calls about me, but I appreciate any criticism as long as it helps one to become better. With regards to the threats and what has happened, you would know that the Free State has been in and out of courts, and as you say, in some instances, we were at the receiving end. And I can tell you here, as I'm seated here, that We did everything in our power to ensure that we have a leadership that is collective in terms of embracing everybody. But at the end, you will then have these contestations, and then people will make decisions, and others will be unhappy. But there's a difference in what happened before. Before you had, and that's why these cases, all those cases were won. It was because people did not do what they needed to do in preparing these conferences, in dealing with issues the way the ANC needed to deal with them. And in this case, we have done everything. And thanks to the national leadership that is here, led by Comrade Mahlobo, they did everything to ensure that they resolve whatever was seen as challenges. You can't help it at some stage when you have to move forward and you have other people. As you take 2 steps forward, others will actually take you 3 steps backwards. You can't help it. If you want to move forward, there are things that we need to let go. And in this case, there are, in the instance, there will be those who will not be happy, and we will deal with those issues as they come. And if they go to court, of course, they are free to go to court, but we would like to engage all those who are not happy. And the National also has done everything to resolve the issues that needed to be resolved. But there is a limit to everything. You can't be focusing on something that you see that some people are not interested in finding a solution. Their interest is when people are when their minds are made up to cause havoc. There's nothing that we can do. So those who would want to work with the ANC, we will work with them. We will even go out and try to make sure that we get all members of the ANC to work with the ANC. But those who are not willing to work with us, we're not going to waste time chasing such individuals. We have a lot of responsibility to do, and that is what we intend doing. The PEC, once it has been announced, it will have its meeting, and the officials will also meet, and we'll take these issues further and apply our minds, correctly in what needs to happen. And I can't sit at here and say exactly what the PEC would decide. But I believe the PEC would have to take decisions that they feel are appropriate to address what the national chairperson pointed out as weaknesses in the provincial government as well as in the local government. But that is the work that the PEC will seize itself with and look into reports and make sure that we have a better understanding of what needs to happen. As I said, leadership is about giving hope to people. Leadership is about making sure that you direct people's energy in a positive way and allow them to do things for themselves. And at the end of it all, they should be able to say, we did these things ourselves. So those are the things that I think we will be able to do as this leadership. And as you would know, we have not even met as officials, so it will be difficult to say exactly what is it that we're going to say. And one thing that I would like you to know, that we're trying to move away as this leadership from any cult leadership, from any cult personality, that we need to operate as a collective. We need to make sure that what we communicate, all of us seated here, would actually be communicating the same message and not Mxolisi's message, or not the treasurers may say is whatever. We are going to be acting as one and operating as such. We would have our differences, of course. Those are necessary for an organization like ours, but also for the brains that are here. You can't agree almost with everything. I mean, that will make us dull. We have to engage, and in engaging, you have to learn from what other people are saying, and that's what we intend doing. And I know I've worked with these colleagues, these comrades of mine. These are dynamic individuals in their own right, and they bring in different skills. They add in value, all of them. And I feel privileged and honored that I'm given an opportunity to work with these men and women. Thank you very much.
No.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Jimmy. I'm only 2 hours, if not 3 hours in office, and I take cognizance of the fact that your question comes from a premise that the office of the Secretariat ought to be full-time. Fortunately, as a Deputy Secretary, I'm not expected to be full-time, but the Secretary in the province is the one who's expected to be full-time in office. However, I was deployed in Parliament in 2019. Therefore, at that time, one did not even know that at this point in time in 2023, one would have been elected as a provincial secretary or provincial deputy secretary. Therefore, it is the organization that will decide in terms of whether there's a necessity to redeploy or deploy anyone. But at this point in time, because I'm saying we are 2 hours in office, we have not done anything, we have not met, we have not analyzed and assessed whether there's a need for such redeployment. But in a nutshell, Deputy Secretary General, even those who came before me, were not full-time in office. Therefore, my redeployment will then be decided if it's necessary. But at this point in time, I remain a member of Parliament deployed by the African National Congress. Thank you very much.
The only thing that will happen is that on the side of the leadership here, we will work through the DIC and we will make a signal. You will brief them that we have started or not started at what time, but it will be a privilege that they should be there when we communicate the final collective. But we will have a sense. At this stage, we will not be able to say when it is, but before we leave this venue, we'll have that opportunity through your platforms that we announce the results. Then our task will be complete, Comrade Chair.
All right, thank you very much, colleagues. That brings us to the end of the briefing. As you have heard, you might have to stick around for the result of the rest of the additional members. So we'll use our WhatsApp platforms to communicate updates in terms of briefings that are going to take place or updates in plenary. And then we'll meet again soon. Thank you.
Thank you.